So Wolf's on the hunt. Further up ahead, the four children frantically ran in hopes to find Chris and get away from their pursuer. Ness did not want to cross Wolf again, and he was feeling a tad embarrassed that he had showed his scared side. What his other friends didn't realise, at least until now, was that Ness had been putting up a brave front to keep enemies from picking on him. Having PSI had boosted his ego a lot, but now he was feeling a little unsure about the whole deal after hearing repeated death threats tossed at him from other enemies he wasn't aware of. Oh yeah, man, you seemed so courageous earlier on when Lucario did literally anything and you started going, please don't hurt me, Lucario. You know, even before you knew the full extent of his powers, you were still really not acting like a terribly mature individual. I don't know, or at least not like, you know. Point is, it's not unprecedented for him to be scared in this story. There's a thing called fucking continuity. You probably need it in a story this stupidly long. I swear to God, why must the entire world be against us? Ness asked loudly. Because, Ness, it is our fate to do battle against Gygas and anyone else that tries to interfere with our pure goal, Pooh said, running next to the Onet boy. Your normal life's days have ended now that you have been blessed with PSI powers. Now you must use them for the greater good. It's like a hot fuzz. The greater good. Well, screw destiny. I think it's a little unfair for children like us to take all this with a straight face, Ness yelled. I thought it wouldn't be that much of a deal when I got PSI, but damn it, this is too much. I don't know if this is the right thing for me to do.
Ness, don't you dare complain about it now, Paula scolded. Do you really think you're the only one who thought about that? It wasn't easy for me to take it all in when I found out.
Oh damn, she has a personality now? I must have missed that. Ness came to a stop, making everyone else do the same. Juff was thankful that they gained a moment to rest behind a wall, away from the not lung-friendly smoke. Juff kept looking back and forth to the smoke and to his group, while Pooh cordially let the other two while keeping watch from the enemies. What? What? Ness said, staring wide-eyed at Paula.
I got scared when I first got PSI, the girl said, looking serious.
The boy noticed that her hands were shaking slightly when she put them over her chest.
It was when I was 5, while I was trying to reach out for a cookie jar from the kitchen table. I know, it is silly how I found out, but it had been a life-changing event when the jar suddenly moved to me out of the blue. When I saw it moving, I panicked, and the jar went flying and crashed on the wall. After I told my parents what happened, they believed me, because they saw the jar flying across the kitchen when I was there. They were both really worried about what I did, since they'd never done it before. Every day I tried to avoid using my hands to reach out for stuff, unless they were right in front of me. I was very scared of my own hands, Ness.
Oh, Ness flinched and looked down at the floor. I just recently learned about my gift, so I never thought that much about it as a scary thing. Wait, your story doesn't relate that much to mine. He stared back up to her. I'm scared about being killed by monsters. You were scared of your PSI. Paula looked angry.
How do you think I felt when I had been kidnapped by people in blue sheets and tossed into a cell away from my home? She asked.
At that, Ness felt silent. I think he means fell silent.
I wasn't deaf. They were clearly trying to sacrifice me to a statue. And they didn't care that I was just a girl, Ness. I was really, really scared that one time that I kept trying to contact the closest member of our group when I recalled that dream about our destiny.
And then she started sniffing.
So when I picked you up, I fought back my tears and held on to hope that I'd be saved, that I'd avoid being killed over nothing. When that happened...
I need to put on the Adagio for strings on again.
When that happened, and you finally located me, everything started to fall into place to me, you know? Paula, there was a reason why you had a gift like that. I'd tell myself when you were at work trying to put an end to that crazed cult.
She wiped her tears and forced a smile.
I'd be completely lost if I had taken this journey all alone. And just being with the others, it makes everything much easier to tolerate. It's incredible all this came out from me when I heard you complain about it a moment ago. But things have taken a turn for the worse in this place. I was trying to keep a cool mind.
You know, you're both in quite a lot of danger right now, and I'm sure the backstory stuff can wait until later. Ness scratched his hat and looked guilty. Oh, Paula, I didn't know. I was just venting off, that's all. Regardless, she needed to let that out as well. It is not an easy thing to live with when you haven't been trained to use that gift of PSI as I have, Pooh chimed in. The emotional turmoil that comes with using the gift is great, and many times stressing. Stressing? That's not a word. You just made that up. The monks have taught me that
Oh, well, no, it's a word, but, not in that context. The monks have taught me that such negative influence can be remedied with the passage of time with others who can understand your feelings. So, Ness, I recommend that you never fall into insanity. You recommend? Oh, okay. You can recommend that someone doesn't go crazy now. I must have missed that fucking psychological diagnosis. You know. Oh, hey, Charles Manson. Yeah, don't go crazy. You know, Mark Chapman. Nah, you just keep going, keep doing you. You know, Myra Hindley. Nah, you're fine. Instead, fight back said insanity with your powers, and we shall respond together. Joff turned around and nodded. I can't really say much about PSI. You all know I lack that special gift. I completely understand how it feels like to be in the face of danger, and I've gotten used to it thanks to you. That's how I know my cowardice won't keep me from fighting back. Ness, I know I'm putting a lot on your shoulders, but try to be brave. I want to draw some courage out of you. I sadly feel that I still need more experience to develop well. The Onett boy took a moment to organize his thoughts. He had to stop that, however, when the possessed wolf showed up from the smoke and smirked at them. Jeff realistically screamed and backed off. Here you are. Time to claw those faces out, he yelled, and wasted no time by leaking forward and stretching his clawed hands at his main target. Putting up the brave face he was used to, Ness's hands glowed with PSI energy, and he exerted enough unseen force to trap the lupine. Fucking stop saying lupine! In midair, just a feet short of his claws touching the boy's skin. Wolf was unable to even grimace due to the psychic force keeping him still in every budging flesh of his body. Luckily and unluckily for him, the moment of stillness was rather short once Ness swung his hands to the left and slammed him onto the wall. Wolf let out a howl of pain, regaining control in his body and falling back on the floor, but this time incapacitated. You're a real pain, muttered Wolf. Yeah, he's really rubbish against these guys, isn't he? I mean, I don't know, he's a decent fighter in Brawl, but, in the against the psychic, he doesn't stand a chance against the psychics, especially not four of them. I don't know why they're scared of him. Well, Jeff's not a psychic, but, he's got his little gun thing. I don't know what they have to be worried about. He's clearly inferior. PK freeze! Pooh suddenly shouted and performed the same move from before, trapping Wolf's arms and legs to the floor in thick ice. There! We must continue moving forward to find your friend. Time is running short. I can't hear the roars any longer. The other three children quickly noticed that the roars of fury had stopped so suddenly. The silence of that part of the chaos meant two things to them. It could mean that Lucario had found Chris, or that something unexpected had happened. Whatever it was, they needed to move quickly. You don't suppose he found him after all? Joff asked. Maybe, or it can mean something really bad. I'm really worried, everyone. We mustn't stop here, Paula said. She looked back at Ness. Ness, are you okay now? Yeah, Ness said, looking down at Wolf, snarling wildly at him. You're right. I have you guys to keep me together. To keep myself together. I won't let these second thoughts stop me now, unless I have a super near-death experience. I don't think you know what near-death experience means, my friend. Come on. Your friend will have just that and more should we stay idle any longer, Pooh advised. The others nodded at him and then took off running further east, leaving a cursing wolf behind who tried to break free from the ice to no avail. 5 minutes ago, cell room. Oh, we're back with Chris again. There's been a few parts, actually. The loud protests from the Aura Pokemon startled everyone in the factory. Well, protests. That's an understatement of the year. The roars snapped Chris out of his sniffles and Roy from his resting spot on the floor. Both were very alarmed once the explosions and quakes started going off as soon as the growls echoed. What the hell? Roy spoke loudly as he looked at the door and saw bright flashes of blue and red. Why is this place suddenly exploding? No, wait. What the hell are those roars? Lucario? Oh, my dear goodness. He found this place after all? Chris thought, both shocked and feeling slightly better. Actually, it's more of an exclamation than a question. He found this place after all, but who gives a fuck? I'm wasting time. He felt a little better knowing Lucario managed to break into the factory, but not a lot better due to how he entered with guns blazing, because the quakes and roars did not stop coming once they started. It was even worse for Chris due to how his cage was attached to the ceiling.
Oh, that's why they were talking about dangling from the ceiling, because the cage is attached to the ceiling. Okay, that makes sense. Transmitting the earthly shakes to the chain and forcing his confinement to dangle to the sides without his consent. Blair, I'm feeling sick in here. I worried too much. The possessed Roy opened the door and tried to look outside, only to find a thick smoke cloud covering several areas of the factory. From within those clouds, he saw the quakes caused by blue spheres that blew out into massive explosions, severely causing collateral damage. To his luck, the explosions were coming from afar, but if he was right about it, the source was surely going to get to him before long.
This has to be some sort of big joke. How on Foray are we being attacked so badly like this in the world? He asked to himself. Lord Taboo never said Ness was this strong.
Chris overheard the swordsman's complaints from where he was. Well, that's because it's not Ness but Lucario, he thought. Roy suddenly ducked out of the way when a foreign object, engulfed in blue flames of aura, came blasting towards the room and crashed on the other side of the wall, causing a minor quake in the room. Startled from the object crashing so hard on the wall, Chris turned to the direction of the object and gasped when he saw the possessed Pichu knocked out cold and upside down while lodged onto the thick wall of steel. He actually was knocked out cold after uttering,
Monster! So very strong. Flee.